And we are recording. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bitcoin Ben. And of course, I got JWade Crypto with me. And this week we got a special guest. He's running for office, I think nationally, right, Taylor?
Yep, U.S. Congress from Missouri.
From Missouri. Uh, See, we need about 49 other people in the U.S. Senate from Missouri, and we'll be okay.
Hey, we'll work on that.
How are you, brother? How are you doing?
Hey, so Jeff knows this. I was in St. Louis on my birthday to do a meet and greet at Crypto World, and then took my boys to enjoy some Magic House on their spring break, and then did a round robin fundraiser events in my district, and now I'm on the East Coast. Just in the last 3 days, so it's been a it's been a
Wow.
hectic few days, but life is good. I can't complain.
Oh, that's great. How are you, JWade Crypto?
Man, it's crazy over here, right? So we have, of course, we had Taylor Burks come in and speak to our crowd, and also our fans on YouTube. But did a great job. I know he was kind of rushed, but was able to get in and get some questions answered by the audience. But we're all very excited for Taylor to get him into Congress. He's one of the few politicians that I've met that actually understands this space, and hopefully once he gets elected, he'll be able to talk to some of his peers and get this space moving in the right direction, so we can compete with the likes of South Korea and other countries that are going to be embracing this technology. So everything's good over here. We do have a big launch party next Tuesday. We're going to launch our WeFunder launch party. Basically, it's going to be an all day fun. It's a lot of people are going to be here. We also have 5 Korean companies that are flying into St. Louis from South Korea. They're going to be here in St. Charles at our store. They're all crypto related. They're going to speak a few minutes. Each company's going to speak a few minutes about what they're doing in South Korea, and just exciting that they're coming all the way from South Korea, and the first place they're coming is Crypto World, right? So it's the first one in the U.S., first one in the world, and to be able to have individuals, different countries that from different countries to come to our store is pretty exciting. So if you're around next Tuesday, please stop by Crypto World for our launch party for like I said, our WeFunder is going to go live that day. We're hoping to raise some money so that way we can expand what we're doing here, open more locations, and get the word out. So very excited.
Awesome. All right, let's jump right in here, Taylor. Um, what's your platform, and what was the trigger that made you say, okay, this is crazy, I gotta throw my hand
For politics or Bitcoin?
in? Actually both.
All right. Well, I have some buddies from high school who have been in the space for longer than I have. And so I had just seen them, followed them for years, pretty shortly after the white paper came out. And my first hurdle was I didn't know enough on how to build my own wallet and do that to get into the space. And then about 6 years ago, there became more apps available to help us do that. And so that's when I first got into the Bitcoin space. I'd followed it, I believed in it, I understood the risk, allocated a portion of my own capital and investment into Bitcoin. Once I was able to do that from a more user-friendly perspective, with technology just advancing for that. So that's when I got in. Have since convinced my family, my siblings, of the utility on how to hold our own individual and family wealth in Bitcoin, more specifically. So that was that. You look at the world, and they're probably tied on why I'm crazy enough to get into Bitcoin and crazy enough to get into politics. And that is, the world is not a great place for individuals because collectively, state action, global action, geopolitics often contrive to undermine what individuals want to build. And so I believe firmly in individual liberty and individual freedoms. And I think that Bitcoin and crypto more broadly is an opportunity for us to do that without the control of these big macro factors that can undermine and destroy family wealth through no fault of our own. That's really the segue into politics. I'm a 15-year Navy veteran. I'm a fifth-generation farm kid from the Ozarks in Southwest Missouri, and I believe truly in what our own ability to contribute to our personal destinies. And since 2020, I think that the world has changed dramatically away from individual and personal liberties. And got back from my third deployment in 2020, very end of 2020, saw what was happening globally in foreign policy, saw some of the terrible decisions of the Biden administration in national security, which is what I've done for 15 years, but also in the crypto sphere, some of the just asinine stuff that these people come up with, and thought that, or figured that I could toss my hat in the ring and do a better job than what some of those folks are doing.
Oh, I guarantee it. Just just growing up on a farm, you're way ahead of them. You're way ahead of them. What is your solution, or what would be one of your solutions to the issues we have right now with our inflation problem?
Yeah. Inflation is a consequence of very loose fiscal policy that we've seen over the last not just 2-3 years, but probably since the 2007 crisis and before that. In the United States, we've had the ability to just print money as the global reserve for currency. The dollar is the global currency that's used in international transactions. And I think that we are at the point where we've abused that so much, we are starting to see the consequences of that with our inflation, economic activity taking a hit, supply chain shortages. So the root of the problems that we're seeing are because of state-controlled and a Federal Reserve that isn't really accountable outside of, unemployment shoots up, inflation shoots up, and suddenly people are concerned about it. That's their accountability mechanism. And it's shown to be a terrible accountability mechanism because people can lose their jobs or their wealth while we're waiting for those corrections. My solution, it's not even my solution. I think that Bitcoin presents an opportunity for individuals to move their wealth, move their assets, move their investments out of a tool or an instrument, which is the dollar, that is controlled by policymakers who have no concern for the average person beyond what their, again, unemployment and inflation target mandates are, and they're bad at doing that. So Bitcoin is the answer for those things. What I talk about from a policy perspective is what can the federal government do, and states can do it as well. What can the federal government do to incentivize adoption of Bitcoin? And we're seeing people who are opposed to that, people who want to keep the status quo, want to keep the dollar as a global reserve currency, want to keep people trapped in a system where we can have no individual control. And I firmly believe that a decentralized form of currency like Bitcoin is the solution to that. We ought to be simplifying federal code. We ought to be treating crypto and Bitcoin with definitions uniformly across the federal government, because those are things, agencies or commissions that treat Bitcoin and cryptocurrency differently that will affect whether it's public corporations' ability to buy into Bitcoin or hold it on their balance sheets, whether it's securities being traded. Those are all areas that we're going to have to deal with at the federal policymaking level, so that it becomes more available, more uniform opportunities for adoption across our economy.
See, I love how you put that. It is a tool that is used for the good of all.
Yeah.
And I like how you grasp that a currency, whether we run it or not, there shouldn't actually be one controlled reserve currency over the whole world, even if it's us, because we're humans.
Right.
We whether we screw up on purpose or we screw up on accident, we screw up. And when you have one currency over the whole globe, that ripple effect, and I hate to use that word, that ripple effect hits every home, every business, every check account, every savings account in a negative way. And cryptocurrencies allow you to hold your own wealth, requires you to actually be a responsible person with your money. And that's, now, from my point of view, is learning to be responsible is a fundamental part of actually being human. And if you don't live with your own consequences, you'll never truly grow up into a responsible person.
Yeah.
And that's what we've lost in Washington, is that idea that America, we are a place of invention. We're an idea. We at one point in our history, we understood that in order to advance, you must be free, or there is no advancement.
That's right. I agree 100%. We used to be a country, and I think we still have the capacity, but we were a country that has done phenomenal, amazing things in our 240 some year history of this country. And it feels like in the last generation, we've just lost our ability to build and accomplish great things. And it's partly due to leadership. You know, our expectation for leaders that we send to Washington, D.C., or to our state capitals are that we're going to continue this growth and advancement for humankind, but in this country or in our communities. The result of that is inflation rates, where we are tracking nearly double-digit inflation year over year, and generationally, we haven't seen this mess. we're moving away from an era where we accomplish things by building them with our hands, the Industrial Revolution, and to now be in the IT space or the information age, and to still be dealing with technologies that are thousands of years old. And when I mention that I'm talking about fiscal policy or monetary policy,
Yeah.
we're dealing with paper money, a technology that's 5,000 years old when we're in an information age that is light years ahead of that. And so I think that what Bitcoin allows people to do is to get into a space where their own individual destiny, their ability to accumulate wealth, even to use it for transactions independent of the government, is where we're going to see our next leap in social development, if you will.
Oh, and I completely agree with what you just said, and I think that the U.S. We really need to elect people like yourself right now. The reason why is we're at a point where this technology is going to be a king creator and a nation crusher at the same time, where whatever country gets on board the quickest and puts economic and human energy into blockchain and into cryptos, that country is going to lead the world for the next few hundred years. And that country should be America. But the only way we are going to do that is electing people like yourself who grasp where we are at this moment.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate you saying that, Ben. The reality is we also have policymakers who live in an age where anything that the government doesn't control is just a tool of shysters or people who are trying to defraud someone else. And it's how you can have, senators like Elizabeth Warren say that Bitcoin is only used for criminals or, international gangsters. That's not the case. You can take some stories of really bad people that have used Bitcoin, and what they're doing is extrapolating out that Bitcoin is only a tool for those folks. When the reality is, I think that I saw a stat, it was something like 70% of the world's population had heard of Bitcoin, and not an insignificant number of people had bought or held cryptocurrency at some point in the last 2 years. And so it's becoming a more mature concept, but we have policymakers in Washington, D.C. who want to treat it like it's a drug, like it's something that needs to be banned or regulated, when it's a technology, and the exact opposite needs to happen. We need to allow for innovation and allow for access in a way that people can get exposed to what's going to be transformational. As you say, a kingmaker and empire crusher, if you will.
Taylor, got a question for you. So, what do you think is what's it going to take for the policymakers, for Congress, senators to finally kind of open their eyes and just say, you know what, altogether, just we need to be able to dominate this technology. We need to be the leader in this technology. Is it going to take a foreign country like South Korea or another country to just open their eyes? Is it going to take Bitcoin to be $200,000 per coin for them to finally say, you know what, maybe we should spend the money to educate ourselves and also, everybody around us, because this thing is something that we need to be a part of?
I get the feeling that we are close to a tipping point for what you say. And I don't know what's going to be the pebble that you add to the scale that tips it over. But I know that there are certainly younger, well-informed members of Congress or appointees to these commissions and boards that make this policy. And really, as you change people, you change minds and you change policy. So as we elect more members of Congress who just understand the concept of blockchain or understand what Bitcoin does and the potential that it has, which is like unlimited potential technologically, as you elect more people, the policies are going to change. What I would like to see, I already see proposals at the state level or nationally, this country, other countries, to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. I think when you see a country start to hold Bitcoin as a currency reserve, that's when you're really going to see that kick for the United States to pay attention. I'm not opposed to introducing legislation that does that, that says the United States probably ought to start holding Bitcoin in the same way that we hold gold or hold other assets in our foreign currency reserves. Russia and Ukraine are both seeing enormous transactions or holdings of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in their own conflict in Eastern Europe. So it really feels like we are on the cusp of that moment where it's not just investment circles, it's not just people who understand the technology and want to develop it and adopt it more, but where policymakers globally are understanding the implications for Bitcoin and want to be a part of that. I think we're near it.
I think we lost you for just a second, but that's all right.
I'm back if that helps.
Yeah. No, you're good. We actually caught exactly what you said. It's just like you're in Washington D.C. and you said Russia, so you're in trouble now.
Right. Yeah, they're listening in.
Yes. Yeah, right. You and Trump, you guys are all in it together. It's well, it was great having you on, and I think Jeff might have one more question, or are you good?
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask Taylor about. He spoke a little bit about it yesterday because, with crypto world, we are a lot of our we do a lot of education here, but one thing that we focus on too is being able to get people learning about mining and how important mining is. And you touched a little bit about it when you spoke here about some of the excess that people don't think about because of all the energy waste. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, and I'm by no means the thought leader in this space, but having a national security background, Jason Lowery, who's an Air Force officer at MIT, developing a thesis on the future of warfare and the implications of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, particularly for future conflict and the mitigation of physical warfare. But part of the energy implications for Bitcoin is that we are able to capture what would be excess or wasted energy. I saw an article today about miners in Texas are applying for tax credits or tax abatements for captured natural gas wells, or excuse me, trapped natural gas that they're able to then harness and use for mining. And the reality is that there's a lot of energy production that is wasted because distribution is its own form of inefficiency in moving, whether it's natural gas, fuel, coal, electricity along distribution lines. What Bitcoin mining allows us to do is to utilize that energy closer to its production capacity and then convert it across the globe far more efficiently than trying to transfer that same energy that's used to create Bitcoin. And so I think that that's a game changer in an industry that most people don't even think about when they're talking about Bitcoin. You're not thinking about, gosh, we have wasted hydroelectric production in say Poland, that we can use to mine. And then what we mine, we're sending wherever we need to send it far more efficiently than we would be sending that electricity or natural gas. The game changer
Absolutely.
is that a lot of our conflicts globally are a result of energy politics. Russia is a key example. Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. These are places where we're seeing conflict over oil or traditional fuel sources. And so if we're able to capture that energy production locally and avoid those conflicts that waste human life, then we're a better society. Humankind is better off because of that. And you can directly say humankind is better because of Bitcoin.
Yeah, well said. So, Taylor, I know we only have a little over a minute left for this segment, but can you tell folks on how we can donate to your campaign?
Yep. Always love people's support. TaylorBurksForCongress.com. We do accept crypto through our campaign. You can follow us on Facebook, which is Burks for Congress, or Twitter is Taylor W. Burks. Any of those outlets, you can get to us, but see our broader platform, and would appreciate anybody's support as we work to get to Congress.
Awesome. Thank you so
amazing.
much for your time.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
Taylor. Thank you. All right, you heard it from Taylor Burks. Everybody, if you get a chance to check him out on his website, his I think he has a Twitter handle that he said, but very, very knowledgeable individual in this space. And if we can get more people like him in Congress and in the White House, it's going to make it a lot easier for us to be able to do what we do here. Just get mass adoption.
Absolutely. He knocked it out of the ballpark on every answer. Love that guy.
Yes.
All right, now, everyone. This is Bitcoin Ben and JWade Crypto. We will be right back. And welcome everybody to the weekly Crypto World and Bitcoin Ben show. We don't know what we're going to name this thing. We'll change it each week. All you guys need to know is that this is a place that you come every week for what's going on in crypto. How you doing, JWade Crypto?
Hey, we are doing really good. Been very, very busy. And, I know you're out of town. I'll be there also to see you here this weekend. And then off to Miami, I guess, for you. You're talking at a couple of conventions, right?
Yes, sir, I am. I know you guys have something coming up next week at your shop there, and it sounds amazing. I wish I could actually be there.
No, absolutely. We'll live stream it so you can be there virtually, right? So great thing with technology, but yeah, I mean we have finally we're to the moment that we're going to do what's called a WeFunder campaign, which is a crowd sourcing type of platform similar to Kickstarter, but more of technology based, and also it's equity based. So we're actually giving up equities of our company for anybody that wants to be a part of crypto world as we expand what we're doing here, as we open up more locations, as we work with our nonprofit foundation that we created. So it's a lot of exciting things, and it's to say that we have this this space, the crypto world, and it was here in Missouri that it was first built and started. So after 6 months of kind of developing this and making sure that that we can franchise this and we can keep it sustainable, we've finally figured out the secret sauce, and now we're very comfortable and basically having anybody that wants to partake offer it to them instead of just going to one person and saying, hey, write me a check for X amount. We want to be able to give ownership to the community, so the community can root for us. They can be with us as we go IPO in 3 to 4 years, and they can generate wealth with us all together instead of just one person. So we're very excited about that opportunity, and I'm sure you'll be hearing. We just got I think Fox picked up our article on our campaign, and we're thinking, because we're the first one that's doing anything like this, that we're not going to have any issues, getting people to be a part of this.
Awesome. That is great. I will, well, me and the event I'm at this weekend is that's what we uh, do. We are a group of investors and a group of projects that bring investors together with projects, and that's why you'll actually be here this weekend.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm gonna basically. I think I'm driving down Friday. I'll be there Friday night, and then be there all weekend, and be back here in St. Louis Monday for the event on Tuesday, and then out to Miami, hopefully with you
Yep.
on Wednesday. So very exciting stuff. And the cool thing is everything that we're doing, it's something that I know at least me and you are very passionate about it. We love what we do. So it doesn't feel like it's work. So, we had somebody come in today. She's probably about 65 years old, and she needed to buy $3,500 worth of Bitcoin. And so she had no clue what to do. So we were kind of walking her through the process on how to do it. And after we went through the process, she started telling me as far as in what she was looking to do with it. And then a few red flags started coming up, right? Like she was sending this money. This lady, she's in her 60s. She was going to send $3,400 overseas in India, and all they wanted to take as payment was crypto. And she said that they were going to use that money to build shelters in India, and they promised her that it's going to go for some program that would help out whatever. And I told her, I said, I think this is part of a scam that you got yourself involved with. So I went through the emails, I read them, and sure enough, yeah, it's a common thing that I see, especially for the older folks.
Yeah.
They get these emails that are like, "Hey, send me money," and this and that, and so basically, I saved her $3,400, and at the meantime, she learned about Bitcoin and opened up her first wallet, and very excited about it, and now she's going to bring like steaks to to all our employees here, because otherwise,
Oh, wow.
if she didn't come to the store, some guy from India would be taken off with her $3,400. So that was a pretty cool feeling to be able to help somebody, because here at Crypto World, we're all about one-to-one support. I think last time we talked, there was a gentleman that was from Orlando that had a bunch of Ethereums, and he wanted he needed help getting out of the wallet, and he had enough.
Yeah.
He had enough to where he's going to fly down, and he's actually flying down tomorrow. Actually, he flew down this morning, and he's coming into our store. Flew from Florida for us to spend 30 minutes with him, because he wanted to make sure he talked to somebody that gave him the confidence that he knew what we weren't just going to take off with his wallet, right? Or try to take any of his crypto, because we're a brick and mortar. We're not going anywhere, right? So it's
Yeah.
one of those
It's
things.
hard to, it's hard to run away when you've got a shop.
Yes, absolutely. So it's a new concept. We're very excited. We're helping a lot of people, educating a lot of people. We're also still focused on selling mining equipment, and also setting up all the stores as a staking pool, because there's so much revenue in that side of things, that I think it's like McDonald's. You think they sell burgers, but they're really in the real estate business. And so for us, from the outside looking in, you think that we sell merchandise and T-shirts and all that, but really we're in the staking business, and that's kind of the direction we're going, and we're very excited to be able to do this campaign, to do this raise, to expand the staking pools, because If you're getting the same 5% with some random anonymous Cardano node, why wouldn't you stake with Crypto World and get the same 5%? We're helping the community, we're educating, we're doing things, doing nonprofits. So it's with our free events, you're almost obliged. It's like you would feel bad if you didn't stake with us because you're participating with our community. So all very exciting, and so happy that you and your team is going to be opening up crypto worlds all over in Florida, and I can't wait to be a part of that also.
Oh yeah, we're all extremely excited about where everything's moving. Uh, uh, we had on Taylor earlier,
Taylor Burks, yep.
and it's cryptocurrency. Whether you like it or whether you don't, it is a part of the future, and it's smarter to actually get involved now and at least get a fundamental grasp of what it is. So as it evolves and as it gets more influential and as it's used more in our daily lives, that you aren't caught unaware. And that's why I think that your guys' mission is so important, because there's no one out there except you guys who I see who is actively pushing for larger education programs in colleges, universities, high schools, you know,
Yeah, to add to that, Ben, this morning at 8 o'clock this morning, I was at a private high school in Wright City, and so there was about 20 students there that we talked to and presented about crypto and Bitcoin. And initially, I was a little worried because I knew when I was high school, I fell asleep most of the time and didn't really listen to any guests unless it was somebody that was just somebody that I look forward to hearing about. But yeah, I mean, we spoke to these high school students, and I would say 95% of these high school students were so engaged. I was surprised that they lacked the knowledge, but talking to them about the basic fundamentals of Bitcoin and to the why, it it really, I don't know, Ben, did I lose you? I think we lost Ben there for a second, but we are going to take a small pause. The show.
we go.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I lost you there, so we probably had 2 minutes of downtime. So I can go back and um, take 2 minutes and connect to the two. So, so if you want to,
Yeah, it actually paused the recording.
oh, it did. Okay, I just see the
Well,
time still running the whole time, so I didn't know if there was didn't know if that was still recording. So you let me know where I should go, or if you're gonna. Are you recording now, or should
yeah.
you are recording?
Sorry, everyone. We had a little glitch right there in the matrix, but you guys at Crypto World are really pushing for mass adoption, and it's so important to educate now this early. That's what we should do. It's all about education, and and Crypto World is leading that education. Now, if I remember correctly, you guys are now a charity, or you've actually created a charitable branch.
Yeah, so we opened up a nonprofit foundation. So we have our 501c3 designation. So with this foundation, what we're looking to do is raise money to be able to help educate more of the inner cities and the high schools and so forth, and also get folks bankable. Right, there's a big issue in the U.S. For people being bankable because banks don't want to be, around the inner city. There's things called the Del Mar Divide, which is something in St. Louis, which is known for the white and the black, right? So anything north of Del Mar is predominantly black population, and everything south of Del Mar is predominantly the white population. So if we can find ways to be able to, educate the inner city and educate them on not only in crypto but the basic finance fundamentals, I think that is going to go a long way. So what we're doing is, I was going to show this to you when I see you, but we have this program out, which we're going to easily raise the funding because it's such a great program. What we want to do is basically raise anywhere from $5 to $10 million, and we're going to buy 20 homes in St. Louis, and mostly probably close to the inner city areas. And what we're going to do is rehab those homes. And the plan after rehabbing them is basically getting 20 families, and we would go through a selection process with the local community and maybe the church, with families that just need the extra hand. So once we pick out the families, basically our goal is to be able to get them to live in the home rent free for 5 years minimum. And at the same time, we are going to put we're going to put Bitcoin miners either in the homes, or we'll have a 20-foot container in the same vicinity for all 20 homes. So we're going to have 3 to 4 Bitcoin miners in each home. Each miner would do anywhere from $12 to $15 per day. So if we take 4 Bitcoin miners at $48 per day, and we take the stock to flow model, roughly in 5 years, that Bitcoin miner is going to generate roughly, at a conservative level, roughly about $400,000. So after 5 years, what we're going to do then is we're going to make home owning a possibility for those 20 families, because our goal is to give them the home after 5 years, as long as they do a few things. One of them is learning about Bitcoin and crypto. Another one of them is learning about the basic finance. Another one of them is being crime free, drug free. and so forth. So we'll have some things, you got to take care of the property, things like that. But you live here rent free. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to learn some things that that will help you in life, and also along the way we're going to help with your credit, so we're going to help increase your credit score. So we're thinking that out of 20 homes, if 4 or 5 come out of the program with a free home, and they're helping society and staying drug free, crime free, and learning about Bitcoin and blockchain, I think it makes a difference. So that's one of the things that we're looking to do. And so Crypto World is going to work side by side with the nonprofit. The name of our nonprofit is called Crypto Without Borders Foundation. So you'll be hearing more about that. But we're going through now, kind of looking at. We created the plan out, just refining it. We'll give it to you, Ben, and kind of see what your thoughts are on it. But I think with the whole thing with Bitcoin, being able to give free homes and getting these people bankable, I think it's amazing story, right? So, so we're hoping that within 4 to 5 years, we have more programs in place. Maybe since we're going to open up crypto worlds all over the U.S., we might have this all over the U.S. in every major city, because every major city has issues, and a lot of it is the foundation of education, lack of it, right? So and so that's what we're hoping to do. And like I said, love for you to be a part of it as we move through this and get going.
Oh yeah, what a great idea. And I've explained that at I actually did a lecture in Utah and explained how excess energy that would be wasted can actually be captured and directly monetized into cryptocurrency, then used on social programs where you don't have to rely on on charities or taxes. You have a reoccurring social source of capital.
Yeah, and that's one thing. That's one thing that I really didn't expand or explain much more on. But I was telling you that on a conservative level, we're going to be mining roughly about $400,000 worth of Bitcoin. So our goal is then to give give the family a home, but also take 25% of what's mined and put it in a fund. So if we're thinking in $400,000, we're thinking then $100,000 would be a almost like a bank account for them, that they would have access up to 20% annually. So we all know Bitcoin grows at a lot. I think the average rate of return is roughly about 113% in the last 10 years. But now imagining this family that has, $100,000, they have access to $20,000 that first year, they have access to probably 35 or 40 the next year. It's not something we're taking money from the government to help with the program. It's utilizing, like you said, the current wasted energy and electricity to be able to create revenue that can be utilized to work for itself. And then, but educating people about this in the inner city and other, other towns. I think it's just marvelous. On almost similar to how El Salvador is mining through volcanoes, and they're hoping that the volcanoes and what's being mined will pay for all the taxes. Right. So
absolutely,
if we can develop an ecosystem similar to that, where we're not relying on the government and the money, and then we're just, rinse and recycle and just keep doing it.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and it's absolutely doable. It's once The hard part is over. Bitcoin is a globally accepted currency. It already is. So now all you do is you set up the rigs. And what's amazing, you can have a mining rig in El Salvador that is owned by the government of Granite City, Illinois. So what they could do is raise up a bond, issue a bond, pay for the rigs with the bond, have us host their rig in El Salvador, run it, they receive their actual Bitcoin in their wallets in Granite City in real time. They repay the bonds with interest, and then they have those rigs running, generating wealth for the public good for the rest of time, or at least until they wear out and have to replace the rigs. But it's a way where you launch one bond, and that bond could perpetually pay for roads, school, uh, welfare programs, whatever you needed it for, it would pay. And that moving away from taxation helps everybody. It helps the government. It helps the people who aren't being taxed. And it helps the city grow without taxing the labor of the people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great concept. So, and it'd be nice as we get this program running, and because the government's always throwing money into trying to patch issues, and 90% of the time they're not doing anything. They're just throwing money into a system that's not going to be fixed. But it would be nice down the road to be able to say no to the government and say, hey, I don't need your money. I figured out a way how to keep some, or to make something sustainable, to help families, to help the community. And I think that is something that, I don't know, it's hard to imagine today, but I really think because of Bitcoin, it's I honest to God think it's doable. There's a reason why Michael Saylor keeps buying Bitcoin and borrowing money, right, to buy Bitcoin, because his 3, 4, 5% he's paying is going to be a lot less than what the Bitcoin price is going to be year over year. And
Yep.
it's a similar concept with the bond. Hey, if you want to give me a bunch of money and I pay you 5, 6%, let's do it all day long, because with Bitcoin, my return is going to be 10 times. But very exciting times.
Absolutely. All right, everyone, thank you for joining us this week at Crypto World and the Bitcoin Ben Show. And we will see you guys next week at the same time, same channel. JWade, love you, brother.
All right, Ben. Take care, bud.
Yep.
Did you know that you can sit down one-on-one with me or one of our other experts here at Crypto World? We can help you open up your first wallet, roll over your retirement into crypto, move large amounts of crypto safely, give you advice on how and what to mine, and more. If you could use expert guidance along your crypto journey, we are here to help. Visit our website to schedule your consultation today.